Hotly Unblended, welcome back to my channel, welcome if you're new, and today I am doing this rainbow star look with the Bperfect Cosmetics and Stacey Marie Carnival Interstellar palette and the new Terra Moons Cosmetics Cosmic Fairy Light collection. So if you'd like to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. Hey y'all, so today I thought it would be fun to revamp a look that I did last year in 2023. It is this look right here, and it really makes me think of the Rainbow Road from Mario Kart. So let's jump into it. Alright, so I'm starting out with the Carnival Interstellar palette and the T2 brush from the Makeup Shack and the shade Spacewalk. This is the Bperfect Cosmetics and Stacey Marie palette, and I'm just going to start to put that in the crease. I'm going to take it and start to run it through the crease, but when I get to where the star sticker is, I'm only going to press it. That way it doesn't lift the star and it looks more perfect instead of having like bits of eyeshadow underneath, because if you go back and forth with it over the sticker, that can happen because I've done it before. But just take it, add the color on, and then take it and flick it out. Now you could do this, maybe it's a half cut crease. I haven't tried that yet. I probably should. That would be fun. But I'm taking it, working it all the way through the crease and following that, and then taking it and flicking it out towards the tail of my brow and making sure that the color is a nice deep dark purple. With the Makeup Shack T14 brush, I'm taking the shade Atom to make sure that I get everything blended out. So I'm going to start by doing back and forth windshield wiping motions with the lightest amount of pressure, just to make sure that we have a nice transition from this purple to the blue. I wanted to do the deep dark purple and then do a little bit of a lighter purple and then take the blue, because I wanted the purple to be where you could see it. I just love blue and purple together, so I thought it was iconic, and I'm trying my best to do as much of the look, like keeping it the same as it was when I did it last year, but there were things I wanted to tweak. With the same brush just cleaned off, I'm going into the shade Believer just to get that blue added in. Now, as I was saying, because I'm doing my voiceovers a bit different these days, I wanted to tweak a few things with this look. I wanted to make it as rainbowy as possible, and yeah, so I'm just taking that same brush and this blue Believer, and when I get to the star, I'm just kind of patting it. That way it doesn't lift. And then I'm using the lightest amount of pressure, doing back and forth windshield wiping motions just to get that blend nice and perfected. With the Makeup Shack T63 brush, I'm taking the shade Nebula just to make sure that I have that nice and softened blend. So I feel like this shade really made it more seamless. That way there wasn't much harshness between the blue and the purple, especially when it's getting up towards that brow area, because you don't really want to have harshness with a cut crease unless that's what you're going for, and then that's fine. But I like to try to make it be as soft as possible without any harsh lines. So just going back and forth windshield wiping motions with the lightest amount of pressure, just getting that color nice and built up. With the Makeup Shack T14 brush, I'm going to take some more of Nebula and start to bring it back. Like I like to say all the time, blending is repetitive, but it's worth it. So Nebula is going to be our shade that is going to be the depth and the dimension. Oh, what are words, Julie? the depth and the dimension. So I wanted to bring it back and make sure that it's defined. That way you can really see the difference between the purple and the blue, and you really get that really gorgeous blend, and that color combo just pops. So I cleaned that brush off, and I'm taking a little bit more of Believer just to bring it back, because like I said, blending is repetitive, but it's worth it. I swear I say that all the time, but I mean it. Like, whenever you're going into blend, if you start to lose the pigment of a shade, just go back in and touch it up and bring it back until you have it the way that you want it. So with that same brush, it's just cleaned off again, I'm going into a little bit more of Atom. That way I could bring back the purple, and then you can really see where that transition between the blue and the purple is, because that was the lighter purple of the two that I used, and I really wanted to have that nice gradient blend going on. So just do back and forth windshield wiping motions with the lightest amount of pressure. The star, I was so excited with how perfect the star looked. So now I'm taking some micellar water on a Q-tip, and I'm starting to just clean out the crease, and then anywhere on the lid that I may have gotten eyeshadow. I like to do this because I feel like if you just go in with a base or a concealer, it may muddy the colors up. So I suggest just taking micellar water on a Q-tip or just something to like get it all cleaned off. That way your colors don't muddy when you go to carve your crease. This step can be a little time consuming, but I promise that it is so worth it. So I am going to take a lip detail brush here in just a second. It's one I've had for ages. It's Likely Makeup and Furless Cosmetics brush collection that I ordered way back when I first started doing makeup. And I just wanted to use that because I feel like with this very thin, small brush, I had more control over the micellar water. That way, I didn't mess up the star. I wanted the star to do star things. No, I wanted it to look more of a cutout, and I didn't want to take the shadow off from around it. That way, when I started doing the rainbow little ribbon in the crease, it just kind of meshed together a little bit better. So now I'm taking some of the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas in Fair to carve out my crease. And I'm going to try my very best to explain in depth how I'm doing this. I'm taking a small concealer brush. This one is from Morphe. You can use whatever one. The Makeup Shack has an amazing flat brush. Get the product on it and then flatten it. And then kind of just follow where you went with the micellar water. Really just kind of follow that. Stumbling over my words. So once you do that, you just kind of, I've heard people say just like tap to start to carve it out. I like to just kind of swoop because with the clean canvas, the formula is really nice and I feel like I have decent control over it when my brush is flattened out. So I will just kind of slide the product around up to right where the eyeshadow is like cleaned up. I don't want to take it really onto it or anything like that, and that's how I find it easier for myself to do a cut crease. So now I'm just going in and trying to make sure I'm not messing up the purple around the star, and I'm really just trying to make sure it's even with the other side. And so I'm just gonna kind of, once I get from the outer corner of my eye, I'm gonna take it and angle it upwards towards the tail of my brow. That way it lifts, and then I have a little bit more room to work on the lid space. And with this, whatever base you want to use, just kind of go ahead and start to blend that into the skin. So now I'm taking the Sigma E25 brush in the shade Woke, and I'm going to start to put it towards the inner corner of my eye and work it into the crease just a little bit, maybe about 1/8 of a way. That way we can get a rainbow blend going. With the same brush just cleaned off, I'm taking the shade From Mars, and I'm starting to pat it right up against that yellow to get it blended together. And I'm just going to take it a little bit higher. We're going to do little baby amounts of eyeshadow right here. That way it's a nice gradient rainbow blend. For this step, it's totally fine for the eyeshadow to get onto your eye, onto the lid. We're going to clean that up in a minute. With the Bella Beauté Bar Bejeweled palette, I'm going to take the shade Cherry Opal and I'm going to blend that from the orange and work it over just a little bit. That way we're getting more towards the rainbow blend, just a little backwards, but I felt like this would blend better with the purple. So now I'm going to take the shade Atom and I'm just starting to pat that against the red and bring it to the star just to kind of make it more connected. That way, I don't know, to me I felt like it would look not weird if I did it this way. So I'm going to take it on each side of the star. That way the purple is just right there in the center. So now I'm going to blend that shade out with a little bit of Supernova, and then I'm going to go into Atom. So to blend out the purple, I'm going to take a little bit of Believer, and I'm just going to start to take that through the crease. I feel like I took this out just a little bit farther, but I was really excited to do like this blending into the green because I felt like it looked so cool. So just go back and forth with it. Here I'm taking the shade Celestial to blend out the blue, and from this shade I'm going to take the pastel green. I felt like it looked so cool, but look at that cute little rainbow in the crease. Now I'm just going to start going into the shades over again to touch them up. I'm taking a little bit more of Believer, that way everything is nice and blended. So now to soften the green, I'm taking the shade Earthbound, and I feel like this really pulls it all together. It's like a nice little bow on top of the look. I don't know. I just love the shade, and it reminds me of the Earthbound video game that I've only played like once, but my husband really likes it. It's pretty fun. So just going back in and touching everything up, and I feel like this really tied the rainbow and the crease together. Okay, so I'm taking some more micellar water on a Q-tip, and this is where I'm going to be very careful with how I'm trying to clean my lid and crease. I just want a thin rainbow line in the crease. So I'm just taking the micellar water on a Q-tip and just cleaning everything up and making sure that I have it thinned out, and that gives it that nice gradient little rainbow blend, but without it just like being all over the lid. And I'm back at it again with this brush and some micellar water just to make sure everything is as precise as I want it to be. If you don't want to use a little brush, then that's okay. Totally understand. Just do whatever you're comfortable with doing. I know this kind of adds in an extra step, but I felt like, to me, it made it look better. So I am going to take more Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas in Fair, and I am just going to start to get everything carved out again and ready for a nice rainbow blend on the lid and sparkles. With this, I'm pretty much doing the same technique that I did when I was carving out my crease. I just want to make sure that I have everything nice and prepped for doing some more blending and making sure that everything is pretty much evened out. And I'm trying to avoid the purple bits of the star. Now, when I did the other eye, and I totally forgot about it until I was doing this step, I had left the sticker on when I was doing the rainbow blend in the crease for the little ribbon. Totally forgot to stick that back on, but I was really just excited to redo this look because I have been wanting to redo it for a minute, and I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to redo it and I'm going to film it for YouTube. So now I'm taking the dough color number 14 brush in the shade Atom, and I'm just going to apply that to about the inner third or inner fourth portion of my lid, and I'm going to get ready to do more rainbow blends. Now I'm taking the shade Believer and I'm patting it along the edges of the purple, and I'm working that up to that little ribbon in my crease. That way it doesn't have any of the base showing and these shades get blended together. You can really just pat these along the sides of each other. And it's really in this step of the look that I'm kind of just going back and forth between the shades and touching them up as I go. Because blending is repetitive, but it is worth it. I always tell myself when I start getting frustrated because it's taking me forever to do a look that it's worth it. Now I'm popping on a little bit of Celestial just to make sure that this blend is nice and softened up. Really, honestly, if you don't have this palette, just use whatever palettes and shades that you want to, that you can do a rainbow with. And it doesn't have to be rainbow, but I feel like that makes it more fun because I personally just love rainbow looks. They make me so happy. Now I'm going to add a little bit of Earthbound just to make sure that that is nice and diffuse, so that I can go in with the shade Woke just to make sure I have everything softened up and none of the shades muddy together. And really, honestly, I just love how this turned out. I don't know. I'm just obsessed with colorful looks, but rainbow looks makes me so happy. I just get so excited about how colorful they are. Now I'm popping on a little bit of From Mars to make sure I'm starting to get the yellow, orange, and red, and I am going to add a little pink to this. Next up, I'm taking Classified to make sure that I get this nice and softened up and more gradient. I'm going to dip back into the Bejeweled palette and take a little bit more of Cherry Opal, and I'm starting to take that and wing the shade out because I wanted it to be a more cut crease but also have that like winged out look with it, and I'm just going to extend it outwards, and then I'm going to start to blend that out with a pink. Now I'm going to take the shade Supernova and just start to pat it right where I left off with Cherry Opal to get that nice and softened up and diffused. I'm going to take the Makeup Shack T63 brush in the shade Fiction, which is a light pastel pink, and that's just going to make sure that everything is more airbrushed looking and not as harsh. With the Makeup Shack T14 brush, I'm going to take a little bit more of Supernova just to bring it back. Now for some sparkles, I'm taking Pisces from the Terra Cosmetics Cosmic Fairy Lights collection and the Doe Color number 14 brush, and I'm just going to start to pop that onto the purple. You want to do this very gently, that way you don't mess up what you just spent a long time working on, because this look took me like several hours to do. Now I'm going to pop on a little bit of Rogue Planet over the blue. The shift in this is a gorgeous purpley blue with like a hint of green, so I felt like it really just worked to tie everything together here. Now I'm going to go in and touch up Pisces and really just kind of get that blended with Rogue Planet. Make sure everything is nice and even and not harsh. Now I'm going to take a little bit of Verdant Valley and just start to pop that onto the green and get it nice and blended with Rogue Planet. I felt like it just really was the perfect sparkle for this. This new collection from Terra Cosmetics is absolutely gorgeous. But if I'm being honest, I really feel like Terra Cosmetics does an amazing job with everything they create. With the new Diverne Cosmetics Dewdrops palette, I'm going to take the shade Drip and I'm going to pop that over the yellow. Let me tell y'all, this palette is amazing. These shimmers are like butter. They are gorgeous, and I have no words. The shifts are otherworldly. I love this one so much. Now I'm popping on a little bit of Super Cluster from Terra Cosmetics to get that on the orange bit because it's a little more orange, and I felt like it just was like gonna go well with the look, and I think that it did. What do you think? What do you think of these sparkles? Did I do a good job on like making them more rainbow, like to make sure that this was a super colorful look and sparkly? I don't know. I was just really excited about it, but what do you think? So now I'm going to take Drop from the Dewdrops palette, and look at that. It is so good. It is just so dreamy. It's like a blurple. And it went perfectly as a brow highlighter for this one. Oh, it's so good. Now take your favorite liner of choice. I took the UV Taffy's palette from Suva Beauty, and I'm starting to feel the star in. I thought about maybe not filling in the star this time, but I was like, I did it in my picture that I had on my phone of the look that I did last year, so I went with it. I felt like it turned out really cute. I miss Suva so much. I'm so sad that they're not here, like, not doing business anymore, because their liners have become, like, my absolute favorite in the last, like, year. And anyway, I just feel like they had really amazing liners, and I'm trying to find some that I like as much as I liked theirs. But I do like the Mayron ones I've tried. I just the palette is really big, so that once I get my room rearranged, I'll probably use it more. But yeah, the UV Taffy's palette from Suva is definitely one of my favorite ones ever. I'm gonna be so sad when the shades are like gone and I hit pan. I'll probably cry. I'm just kidding. I'm dramatic, but I do cry a lot. And because I'm extra and I love rhinestones, I am getting ready to add some of the Manic Gems Angel Baby rhinestones. They are some of my favorite. That and the Rouge Strip Pack, definitely my favorites. I do have a code with them if you're interested. It is slightly unblended and it'll save you some money, and I will make a commission. But yes, the Manic Gems is definitely like my favorite place to get my rhinestones from. They have amazing products. The everything I've used from them is amazing, and Chrissy is just so sweet and so kind and so talented. But I cannot recommend Manic Gems enough. My favorite gems that I use always. And because I was feeling a little spicy, I decided to do a gemstone wing. So I'm going to go do the rest of my face, and I'll be right back. Alright, so this is the finished look. What do you think? Sorry about the voiceover. I'm trying to get used to my new schedule. Have things changed up, but that's okay. I'm just trying to, like, figure out how it's going to be best for me to film when I have the time. Because I did do some pre-filming, but I was not that on top of things like I should have been. But I am going to plan on maybe in the next few days try to pre-film at least 2 or 3 looks. So if you have any look ideas, please do let me know. And yeah, what do you think of this look? It was so much fun. It reminds me of on Mario Kart, the Rainbow Road, like the really hard one. I wish that I felt like doing the little face on the store, but I just wanted to try to revamp my one from last year. Okay, let me know what you'd like to see next down in the comments below. If you'd like to keep up with my awkward face and shenanigans while I'm not here on YouTube, then I'll have all my social medias linked in the description box down below. And if you'd like to keep up with me while I am here on YouTube, then please hit the subscribe button. It means so much to me, and I can't thank you enough. And if you like this video, could you please give it a thumbs up? I heard that it helps to push my video out into the algorithm, so if you give it a thumbs up, then thank you so much. Alright, I hope that y'all have a beautiful week, a beautiful day, night, whatever time it is that you're watching this. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I'll see you in the next one. Bye!